What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. I wanted to do a quick update on our Grey Knights. As you guys probably already know if you haven't seen it all over Facebook, Reddit, and all the websites out there, but we did get a release as of today. Like I said, I wanted to make a quick guide to kind of give you a heads up on what I'm thinking about the future of the Grey Knights coming up in Arks of Omen. So coming up this weekend, I actually have a RTT this Saturday, which we're not using any of these updated rules, so I don't get to test it out right away. And then we have LVO coming up right after that, end of January, which I'll be going to. So if you guys are there, definitely come up and say hi. But I won't be able to test it out there as well. So I'm going to run some friendly games, testing out the new Arks of Omen release, as well as Grey Knights, Death Guard, Sisters, and Chaos. Chaos got a huge hit. Can't run Bio anymore, which kind of sucks. But with Grey Knights today, guys, that's this whole video. So we're going to give a quick guide on what I've seen, and I'm going to pull it up for you guys so you can see here, and kind of ideas of where you should be focusing going into Arks of Omen. We're going to go over the secondaries, the new updates. We're going to go over the data sheet, and we're going to go over any facts that were changed with Grey Knights. So let's get into it. So let me pull up this for you here. We got the window going. These are the new updated points changes. Now let me make this bigger so you guys can see it. And let me just get rid of myself. So we mainly have points reductions across the board, which is always cool to see. Now with all of the HQs, they basically went down and they got free weapons everywhere. Strike squads, interceptors, anybody that can bring a weapon besides the Dread Knights are all free now. Anything on this sheet that you guys have seen, I'll post a link in the description below. But all the points that you don't see any weapon upgrades are free. The only upgrades that you have to spend is like a Demon Hammer right here. So Nemesis Demon Hammer on the Grandmaster, Nemesis Demon Hammer on the Strike Squad, and the Apothecary, stuff like that. That's really where you're going to be using it. But with the Brother Captain, 10-point decrease, Stern decrease, Brother Champion decrease, Librarian decrease, which is awesome because everybody runs Librarians. We have the Tech Marine decrease, which I run a lot. Crow, not a lot of people run it. He only got a 5-point decrease, which I don't understand why. Grandmaster decrease, and the Demon Hammer again is the only thing that you have to pay for. So with Grandmasters, sorry, it's weird not seeing me talk to you guys. with Grandmasters, they have a ballistic skill, which is rare for us as a 2. So if you guys are going to run a Grandmaster, might as well throw a side cannon or silencer or even flamer on him for free, because he's going to be hitting on 2. So 3 shots for the side cannon, -1, 2 damage. You can do 1 CP to make him extra shots, which probably isn't worth 1 CP, but at least you got an extra side cannon on your Grandmaster for free. Tech Marine doesn't really get any cool upgrades like that. I wish they did. Librarian, you can actually throw a Melta gun on him now for free. That used to be 10 points. You still have to pay for the Demon Hammer, but I usually load mine out with either a sword or now a halberd, because the halberds are -2, which is pretty good now. So you can throw a halberd and a Melta gun on your Librarian, a combi Melta for free. I don't really run these other guys. And then let's get into the Grandmaster. So Grandmaster Dread Knight, if you guys are wondering if you can bring a second one, I don't think so, because they didn't fact that you can bring 2 Brotherhoods or use the Grandmaster in the same Brotherhood. It really just says you can bring another Grandmaster, but the fact, or the book, our codex, says you can only have 1 per Brotherhood, which is what is limiting us to that. So we can only run 1 Grandmaster Dread Knight, but again, the Dread Knights are going to be so much better with Arks of Omen, just because Armor Contempt is going away, which I told you guys is really going to put Grey Knights, on top of the board again. But everything else is exactly the same. We didn't get any point increases, no point decreases. The only point decrease you will notice, or maybe you didn't notice, is all the teleporters are free. So anytime you're playing your game, you have to put the teleporter on the one that you think is going to be in combat, so that way you can leave combat, shoot, and charge still. So now all of them can get free teleporters. You can shunt all of them once per game, but the 2 CP is still really expensive. If they change that to 1 or just free like it used to be, that would just make them bonkers. But it's still 2 CP to shunt them, but it's 1 CP to leave combat, shoot, and charge, which now you don't have to choose which Dread Knight you want to do that to. it can be done with every single one, which is really cool. So you put that free teleport in your Grandmaster. That's an extra 10 points that you save there. You still give him the Great Sword because the AP2 sweep is really good now. Side Cannon and Silencer. Voltus, don't really use because he's only Word Bearers. Chaplain, I don't like the Chaplain just because everybody else has a freaking 2-up Priest Prayer. We don't. Our auto prayer is 2 CP. It's not a good champion for the Grey Knights. Calder Drago, big surprise, actually had a 15-point decrease, so he is still in a lot of lists. Now that I'm bringing the Grandmaster Dread Knight, you can always just swap out the Grandmaster Dread Knight for Drago or vice versa if you don't have the points. The troops, this was huge. 35 points for a Terminator. I'm going to be testing out full Terminator, or at least a couple squads of Terminators for the upcoming games. But Terminators are always cool. I have like 50 of them just sitting on a shelf, not really doing anything. Paladins, I think, are dead, honestly. No armor contempt. They're a lot easier to kill now. The Apothecary is still 100 points. I can't bring back 2 of them. I can't bring back 1 for free. I can't give them a 5-up Feel No Pain. Like, I think the Paladins aren't going to be seen that often in Arks of Omen. But the Terminators might. They're OBSEC. They're freaking 175 points for 5 of them. That is insane. Free gear, so you get to put a side cannon on the unit for free. 2 side cannons for a 10-man unit. Combat squad, and then put 2 of them in 1 unit. Demon Hammer still are 10 points, though. And then let's go to the Strike Squad. Strike Squads are now 100 points for 5-man. Which our our units, our troops are really good. They're Psychers. They have really good weapons. They have 4-shot Storm Bolters. And they have Hammerhand, which they can reroll wounds. So if you want to make a list with Strike Squads still in your list, I highly would recommend it. Even if you put 1 or 2 of them in the list, you're still saving 10 to 20 points, which is cool. And you can throw a Side Cannon on for free or a Silencer for free since the AP1 isn't going to be good again. But the Side Cannon's AP1, 2 damage though. So it's your call. Elite's Apothecary went down 10 points, which is cool. Again, I'm probably not going to be running him that much now that you can bring 4 HQs. So I'd rather bring a Tech Marine for 70 points than bringing a 90-point Apothecary that I have to spend CP to bring guys back and can't really do anything else for your army. Brotherhood Ancient down 10 points. Dreadnought didn't get touched, which if you're going to run them, you're probably going to run a Dread Knight instead. Paladin Ancient got brought down. Probably not going to see him. Paladin Squad didn't get touched. If they would have brought this down to 35 points a unit, even 40 points a unit, maybe. But still 45 points a unit, not really the best. Demon Hammers are still 10 points. Yes, they hit on 2s in combat, but I still don't think you're going to be seeing them a lot. Purify Squad didn't get touched. You can still bring everything else for free. So you can bring like 4 side cannons in the squad for free, 4 flamers in the squad for free, 4 silencers in the squad for free. But you still have to pay for the Demon Hammers. Servitors didn't get touched. Still cheap point 4 model unit. Venerable Dread did not get touched, but he does have free war gear. So him and the Dread, you can put anything you want on them for free, which I guess if you think about it as an upgrade, if you were like running the Dreadnoughts, I used to run Venerable Dreads with multi-meltas for 5 points. Now that's free. And a close combat weapon if you wanted to go last cannon missile launcher and just kind of have a back Dread shooting from afar. 36-inch range for the 3 damage plasma guns, as well as the missile launchers. And he hits on 2s. Plus, is a 1 CP strat that you can give everybody within 6 inches reroll 1s to wound, to hit or to wound. Now, if you have a Grandmaster near you, all of your Dreads that are standing around you, you put him in the center, they all reroll 1s to wound, and your Grandmaster gives everybody reroll 1s to hit. So that little fire thing I'm probably going to be testing out. It's Grandmaster Dread Knight, Dreadnought, Venerable, and 3 Dread Knights, all within 6 inches of each other. Just unloading on whatever the hell they want to load. So Sword Bearers might actually be played quite often with Grey Knights moving forward. Nothing Wisdoms. We did get a 5-point decrease on everything last time, so it's cool that they lowered it. This one you guys should definitely be checking out. The paralysis. It's the no Overwatch for a unit as long as your dude is on the table. So I usually just put it on my librarian and just have them say, all right, no Overwatch for that unit. Fast attack. This is what I was surprised. I was practicing strikes going down 2 points, but I wasn't practicing interceptors going down 2 points. So all of our lists, I'm sure that we were running, have went down 20 points for a 10-man interceptor squad, which is freaking awesome. I was practicing demon hammers for free. I thought they would be free, but they're not free. So you still have to pay for demon hammers, which most of the time you're not going to be bringing. But 120 points for a 5-man unit, not bad. I like it. Heavy support. Land Raider, haven't run one in a very long time. Crusader, Redeemer, just haven't really run them. They might be like the Redeemer, I think is the one with where you could put side cannons on. And the Incinerator might be cool to test out with the side cannons, but again, you're spending a lot of points when you could be running Terminators, with moving side cannons for around a lot cheaper because now that they're free. The Dread Knight didn't go down any points at all. Again, the only thing they got was a 10-point upgrade for the teleporter. So if you're going to be running Dread Knights, it's a free upgrade just to kind of put an extra shunt ability or fallback, shoot, and charge strat on them. Like, it's an auto include. I think every list that's going to be out there should have at least 1 to 3 Dread Knights in the list. The Silencer is -1 AP now, which is amazing. The heavy side cannon is -2 AP. You have a 1 CP strat to make everything -1 more AP with +1 strength. So your side cannons are -3. Your silencers are -2. If they're within 6 inches of a Grandmaster, you're rerolling 1s. If you have a Tech Priest, he's sitting on 2, rerolling 1s. That's the guy that I'm going to be spending the 1 CP on. He's going to hit on 2s, and he's going to reroll 1s and 1 CP to make him strength 9, -3, 2 damage. If there's an Empiric Amplification up, it's 3 damage, which is just insane. So I'm so happy that Armor Contempt is gone. So that way our shooting comes back to the fray. Purgation Squad, haven't ran ever in this edition, but it's free silencers. They were only 5 points for the Purgation Squad. So a lot of people were saying, oh, these guys are so good now, but really it's still 3-shot -1, 2 damage guns. If they had 1 extra AP or 1 extra shot, like 4 shots, which is what they used to have, I think they would have been run a lot more. But I'd rather bring, you could bring more now because you could bring 3 Dread Knights and then Purgation Squad. Like, you can bring up to 3 more heavy support. So Arks of Omen lets you literally run whatever the hell you want, which I really like. Like, it's really cool. So if you wanted a 110 point 4 side cannon, 4 incinerator, or 4 in silencer guys coming down, that's what, 6, 12, 24 -1, 1 damage, spend 1 C, AP 2, 1 damage, shots coming down, and you could give 1 CP strat for them to hit on 2s as well. So 2 CP, come down, 24 shots, hitting on 2s, -2, 1 damage. So it could get you Teleport Assault, which we'll talk about, but 110 points, right? Not a huge point cost to possibly trade better. All right, Razorback. Free weapons. So you get to free Last Cannon, free Assault Cannon, free anything you want. The only thing you have to pay for is the Hunter Seeker Missile. So this is pretty cool. If you were running an 80-point Rhino already, now you get a free upgrade to a Razorback. And you can put Last Cannons on it just to kind of have a little shooting platform. If you have a Tech Priest, you can get it +1 to hit. No rerolls because it's not core, but still you have an extra 20-point upgrade that you can put like a 12-shot Assault Cannon on your Razorback. So they might be seen a little bit more moving forward in Arks of Omen, but it's a free transport that you can put 5 interceptors in just to get the extra 3-inch launch. And it moves 12. So it's a pretty quick gun platform for the Grey Knights. Rhino, nothing changed besides maybe a free Stormbolter on top of that. But Flyers, this is what I was really excited for. I didn't run the Interceptor or the Storm Talon ever, so I can't really give you insight on that. But this, guys, Gunship. If you've seen my earlier videos in 9th edition, I ran lists that were super aggressive, just ran forward as fast as possible. So you get to reserve this guy for free now. So you don't have to put him on the table to get shot turn 1. So basically, he's automatically going to be coming on and blowing something up because he's not going to be shot turn 1. He can come on the table from reserves. So he can come on 40, 45 inches, get within 12 inches for the multi-meltas, 4-shot multi-meltas. If you're bringing the Brotherhood for the vehicles, you can have them hit on 2s coming in. I think it's a 2 CP strat to like target something, and then everything that hits on 2s. So that's pretty cool. To just literally nuke whatever it wants. It has all of the storm bolters, like the hurricane bolters, for free. That used to be 30 points. The plasma cannon up top, you could bring last cannon up top, or assault cannon up top. Usually I go with the plasma cannon and overcharge it for 3 damage. And then you bring the multi-meltas up front. That's 4 shots, strength 8, -4, d6, plus 2 damage because you'll be within 12. That's a lot of firepower hitting on 2s. And then you can spend 1 CP to make those hurricane bolters Cybolt ammunition. And the 2 missiles that you get to shoot every single turn. I think it's like strength 8, -2 or -3, 3 damage. Like it's a huge platform flying on for 260 points. And you can bring 12 models in it and a dreadnought. So think about that. You fly on with 120 points of interceptors inside. You can even bring like a librarian, but he can't really get out. So it's not really worth the librarian because he comes in turn 2. I'd rather deep strike the librarian turn 2. And then the dreadnought comes in with it. So on turn 3, you still have 120 points of interceptors that can fly out 15 inches. You have a dreadnought that can get out 9 inches with a multi-melta close combat weapon. And if it dies, right, you're only going to kill the interceptors, not the dreadnought. But if it dies, you basically put it into a position when you flew on that if it dies, you can put your guys in cover or behind a wall. So you can kind of place your Storm Raven where you want when it comes on, and then next turn they can either get out and kill something, or if it blows up, which you can put a 4-up invuln save on it, and it's got 5-up mortal wound saves anyway, it can then just fall back into cover. So I think the Storm Raven, I'm going to be running a list that is going to be really geared around that. I'm going to be really excited to just give it a 4-up invuln save from 18 inches away and be like, all right, kill it if you want. If not, it's going to blow up everything on your side of the table. So yeah, I'm excited about that Storm Raven. Hopefully you guys can try that out and let me know what you guys think. But those are really the points. Now, the biggest takeaway is everything in your list probably went down. Your Librarian went down, Drago went down, Strike Squad went down, and Fast Attack went down. Your Apothecary, if you're running that, went down, but you're probably going to take that out now because you don't really need them. Paladins, take that out. You can freaking run 75 points more. You can run a Terminator brick instead of a Strike brick. You only need 1. You only need 0 troops, honestly, with Arks of Omen. But if you bring 1 to 2, I would suggest that in Arks of Omen. If you're going to run just 30 interceptors in Arks of Omen, you went down, 60 points for 30 interceptors. Gives you enough for a Razorback or a Rhino with free upgrades. So there's a lot of changes that you guys could be making in your lists. Now, moving forward with the secondaries, you're going to be making your list based off secondaries. So let's get into some secondaries. What we know about the secondary changes. All right, so hopefully you guys can see this. Thank you, Tabletop Tactics. They updated all the secondaries. The Grey Knights one, it's pretty simple. The Purge the Enemy. If you guys are bringing this, you're most likely not going to have suffered the negatives because you killed so many of the demons already. But there's no more negatives to taking it. So if you ever face a demons player, this is almost an auto include because you're always going to get like 15 to 20 points of it. So that one's an upgrade, right? It's one of our 3 that we had. So we get to keep it, but there's no longer any defects to it. Then we have No Mercy, No Respite, the Teleport Assault. This one, guys, I think is going to be an auto include, and we should gear our list around this secondary. Scoring 5 victory points with the same criteria. So they either have to Teleport Assault, they have to Shunt, they have to Deep Strike, or Gate of Affinity. So any one of those things, if you take a unit, a Dread Knight, Teleporter, Librarian, anything that comes in Deep Strike, which our whole army can, Gate of Affinity, which you can gate literally any Psyker, or a Shunt, right? You're going to have to spend 2 CP for a Shunt, but it might be worth it if you get that extra 5 victory points for an easy kill. Let's say you see Drakari or something like boats across the table, you can Deep Strike a Mortal Wound Librarian down, and just mortal wound the shit out of the boats to get an easy 5 victory points. Now, if you're bringing a mortal wound librarian, which I definitely would, you can remember extend the range by 6 inches. So your purify flame is 15 inches away, your smites are 24 inches away, and your vortex of doom is 18 inches away. You can come down within 15 inches, which is really far, in cover, get line of sight to something that you want to blow up. Now, line of sight is, I'm going to do videos on this for Patreon. So if you guys want to join the Patreon, definitely join the Patreon, because a lot of videos of tactics for Grey Knights are going to be joining in there. But if you come down your librarian and your weapon or anything line of sight from your librarian can barely see one boat, but everything else is in the open, you're only eligible to shoot that boat because it's closest visible line of sight. So you come down within 15 inches, you only see that boat, right? That's the only thing you can psychic. Even though there might be a unit on the other side of the wall of you, you can't shoot that unit because they're ineligible. You can only shoot the thing that you can see. You come down within 15 inches, you nuke something with mortal wounds, right, for like 2 CP, and then you kill it, you get an extra 5 points. So 3 turns of this is really what we should be aiming for. That's why Dread Knight's going to be so huge in this edition, or this new 6 months of Arks of Omen, because they can deep strike, they can get shunted, and they can get gated. So they have 3 chances, right? 3 opportunities to get you 5 victory points in 1 turn. So this used to get me 8 to 12 reliably every game. Now it's going to get me 10 to 15 reliably every single game. So I think we should definitely be making our list around that, having people that can cast 2 powers, reliably getting the Gate of Affinity off, Drago giving him 1 CP to roll 3 dice, drop the lowest to try and get a gate off, as well as put a Sanctuary on a unit, or a librarian, a defensive librarian that can gate and put Sanctuary, same thing, on a unit, so you can save points if you just want to cast that. You don't really need Drago. You can run just a safe librarian in the back to be your gate guy, as well as your Sanctuary guy, or anything else because he can cast 2. You spend 1 CP, cast 2 powers by rolling 3 dice, just to get that gate, so you can get 15 points off. So pretty cool. I might be keeping 1 Dread Knight in deep strike every game just for this, kind of make my opponent hide a little bit more. But we'll go over this whole thing in another video. But Purifying Ritual was a kind of a hit. So it got hit last time by us having to control the objective, which makes sense, right? It's a secondary. It's a really good secondary. Now they've done it by, we have to control it and we have to roll a 6. Now, if you've ever played me anywhere in this meta, I never roll a 5. I fail. You guys are probably in the same boat. I've failed so many times on my War Ritual 5s. And most of the time we put 1 unit on the objective. You're like, all right, they're going to roll 5. I'm good. Then they roll 4. You're like, fuck, I don't have anything else on that objective. I can't cast again. So that loses me 1 to 2 victory points, because if you get 3 casts, you get 4 points. You get 2 casts, you get 2 points. So if you miss 1 out of your 3 casts, you're kind of screwed. So this makes you think where if you're going to be taking this, you're going to have to put at least 2 units or a Dread Knight and a unit, or 2 Dread Knights, or anything that can cast multiple times from 2 different units on the objective. So you have a Strike Squad in the back and a Dread Knight, now you have 2 chances. If you have a Dread Knight on one side with an Interceptor Squad, now you have 2 chances. If you shunt right on the other side and put your Interceptors over there, now you have 2 chances. Now you have 6 chances, right, to roll 6 to try and get 4 points. So it's still a good secondary. It's just harder, and I'm sure you're going to see and hear me fail this a lot more. But maybe it lets us try other secondaries that we haven't really thought of, because our Teleport Assault is going to be so good. So reliably, we might be able to have 2 really good secondaries. 3 if you're playing a Demons player, or a Chaos Space Marine Demon vehicle list. But most of the time, we're going to be running those 2 that are pretty good. And they did change behind enemy lines. So that could be pretty good for us if we run Blades of Victory, or if we run the Storm Ram and get something across the table and then get them out, and then that's 4 points easily. So those are the secondaries. So hopefully you guys again, I wanted to make this, pretty quick, but I wanted to give you my insight and ideas on what you're going to be seeing Grey Knights moving forward, and as well as my thoughts of the lists that are coming up. Now, if you guys have been, I have LVO coming up, so I can't think too hard or too long about all the different lists that we're going to be running. Even though all the practice games we're going to be getting is probably going to be these different lists. But I'm going to be testing out the Sword Bearers list. I'm going to be testing out Prescient with 4 HQs. I'm going to be testing out Double Librarian. I'm going to be testing out Armiger list, the autocannon dreads from the Knights, because you don't lose secondaries and you don't lose Tides of Shadows or the Tides. So the list that I'm really working up is Tech Priest, Tech Priest, Nemesis Dread Knight Grandmaster, Librarian, right? 4 HQs, 20 Interceptors, 3 Nemesis Dread Knights, a Servitor unit, and 3 Armigers with autocannons. So they're 4 D3 shots, -2, 3 damage. Holy shit. And they're OBSEC 5. Damn, right? They're just your back OBSEC gun platforms. Then 3 Nemesis Dread Knights. You can give them all swords, I believe. All swords. I have to check the points. But all swords, all free teleporters. Grandmaster, fully kitted out. He has everything within 6 inches of him as OBSEC. You can do, he has the sigil already, but you can do like +1 to wound if you really want him to get in combat and just mess stuff up, because then he'll be hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s with his -2 damage sweep attack. But that's an extra CP. So the list that I made, I think it starts with, 1 CP, 1 to 2 CP. That's that. Tech Priest has the auto heal 3, because you're going to need it, and the Prescient Warlord trait, so he can be casting the Prescient ability. Librarian is the Mortal Wound Librarian with the +1 to his armor save and the 5 Feel No Pain, and the Psychic Power Warlord trait. And the 20 Interceptors just have either halberds or swords, whatever the hell you want to run. So that's the list. That's probably gonna be my first game testing out. So I got to put together the Armigers. I have 3 of them with Grey Knight helmets, and then I have the 4 dreads already. So that's going to be a really cool list. Hopefully you guys get to see that. We'll be posting the Patreon notice before everybody else, so you guys know exactly when it's going to be coming out. So if you guys aren't a part of Patreon, you really want to support the channel and grow the Dirtbag Nation, not just for Grey Knights, but for every army that we play and every army that you want to see. There's suggestions that I've been taking that you guys can kind of let me know what you want to see. But again, starts through Patreon. There's only $1 a month. Appreciate our 2 Patreons that just signed up. And coming up next, we're going to be having this same exact conversation, except with Death Guard. We're going to be doing Death Guard, and then this year I really want to run more Sisters, because Arks of Omen is going to be insane for Sisters, as well as Chaos Space Marines. Bile, again, I already told you I'm kind of bummed about that. That was going to be my fun list. Now it's probably going to be Black Legion, try and get in front of everybody as soon as possible with the Veilbreaker plate. But guys, let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button, but let me know with a comment what you didn't like, so that way I can improve the channel and my content. So guys, I appreciate it. Good luck, and we will see you in another video soon.